do you make of that?
The rule of law, Maria Mino, blessed with an ancestral name, Māori Party, they brought this disharmony on their own house, and now the court has spoken, but it's up to the people of Taitokere whether they want to maintain their support for Maria Mino. But I always said she was treated very poorly.
Minister, industry sources are suggesting to us that the price of 91 is likely to be between $3.20 and $3.30 a litre based on prices from importing food this morning. Do you think the economic recovery can handle that sort of shock?
Look, we all know, as we learnt in COVID, the escalation of both power prices and fuel prices is a major vulnerability. We're not the author of this misfortune. However, our fuel security situation was fatally wounded once the Labour Party and Jacinda closed down the refinery.
What can be done now?
Well, obviously, we've got to work with the Minister of Finance. We want to make sure that we don't take the wrong decision, but no one should underestimate the threat that the absence of the refinery represents to New Zealand's fuel security.
Can you tell me COVID round 2 here? What did this bring to people? Did we need this conversation? What did you take out of it?
Look, we, as you may recall, had a agree to disagree. We felt that the writ of the Royal Commission study into COVID was too narrow, but obviously in the House we're going to prosecute questions against the Labour Party as to why they concealed information, why there was classic groupthink, and whether or not they failed the parents of New Zealand because children ended up receiving vaccinations where the experts said they should not be administered. These are extremely damaging findings.
Chris Hipkins has just said that their advice was never provided to ministers. And that was,
Pardon?
Chris Hipkins has just said that advice was never provided to ministers.
Chris Hipkins either concealed the advice or the level of ineptitude was so spectacular he has endangered the long-term health of hundreds of thousands of New Zealand children. And as a father of 7 children and a grandfather of 21 children, I say that that level of ignorance is indictable.
I just have a text question. The IRD has been consulting on cracking down on companies that lend to shareholders because that's a way to sort of reduce tax burdens. I believe Cabinet is looking at whether the rules need to be tightened.
Yeah.
Is this something New Zealand First has a view on?
Yeah, we are aware that the IRD has been exploring whether or not shareholder loans should be treated as income. That is not something that New Zealand First has ever agreed on.
Why?
That's not to interpretation. Well, the final call, no doubt, will be made by Nicola Willis when she brings advice to Cabinet. But that is a major departure in terms of how historically the affairs of small companies, the affairs of the accountancy profession have been treated as to whether or not loans are income.
Time to go.
Do you think there's any tax avoidance happening though?
Pardon?
Do you think there's any tax avoidance happening because of the current rules?
Oh, well, I'm sure the IRD can borrow from the Australians. They have a way of checking that out.